So just refresh all this. So the cruising levels, so-called flight levels. So for magnetic core 0 to 179, it follows the odd thousands plus 500, and the magnetic cores from 180 degree to 359 degree fly at E1000 plus 500 feet, right? So these examples also we have worked out in the last class. Then is this discussed?
Sir, screen is not visible, sir.
Okay. Right. So IFR mandatory conditions are discussed in the last class.
No, sir.
So this is the applicability or applicability of IFR rules, that is instrument flight rules. So instrument flight rules, I remember that we have discussed it anyway. We'll have discussion as you told. No. So when the weather conditions are not favorable for visual meteorological conditions, then we'll go for instrument flight rules. Means we'll completely depend on instrument meteorological conditions. So IFR mandatory conditions are when operating during night, with exception of such local flights, and when we are operating above 100 nautical miles towards sea, means from the seashore. These are the conditions. So equipments, so it should be well fitted with all the latest equipments which allows for navigation and communication. So that is what it means. It means in IFR you should have a long range communication equipment so that you can communicate with ATC when you are flying on the sea beyond 100 nautical miles from the seashore, and the equipment should be fitted enough in navigational systems. You should be able to fly in the night time. So the minimum height that is decided by DGCA as well as ICAO. What is ICAO stands for? Can anyone tell me? Let me write here so that you can see what I'm talking about.
International Civil Aviation Organization.
Why you are so doubtful? Any other answers?
International Civil Aviation Organization, sir.
International Civil Aviation Organization. Very good. Okay, both of them are correct. Good. Oh. Then what is DGCA?
Director General for Civil Aviation.
So where is this DGCA exist?
India, sir. It works in India.
Okay, very good. So this DGCA exists in India, so that is means headquarters located in Delhi. So DGCA rules and regulations are meant for in the vicinity of India, whereas ICAO is applicable internationally. Okay, all the EFR, IFR, whatever the rules have been met, been designed. So that is decided by ICAO. So the minimum height conditions in the IFR means in the high terrain or in the mountains at a level of 600 meters or 2000 feet. So better you have only one kind of metric. So we'll talk in terms of feet. So 2000 feet above the highest obstacle with a radius of 8 kilometers. Elsewhere it is 1000 feet with a radius of again 8 kilometers. Okay, so this is very important. I think we have stopped at this point, if I remember correctly.
Yes, sir.
So right of way. Oh, Kiran, now you got it. Okay, that's good. So there is something called right of way. I have given an example of I think a lady and a woman, correct? Sorry, a gentleman and a lady. So when both are approaching at the same point, then what happens? Then gentleman give way to a lady, right? So likewise, I think I've given an example, and in the last class, so this is the order. So balloons has got the right of way when compared to gliders, and gliders has given priority, and this other tugs and gliders will give way for it. Then airships will give way for the gliders. Then helicopters will give space for, way for airships, and the power conventional aircrafts will give way for helicopters. That we'll see what are the different conditions. So as I told in the last class, so balloons doesn't steer, means you cannot control the direction of balloon, this hot air balloon. So it can go only in two directions. That is, two directions. No, it can go only in one direction. That is, either it can go high or it can go low. That's it. Whereas the other direction is driven by the flow of air. If I write here, so if this is the the hot air balloon, then if this is the direction of wind, then what happens? This hot air balloon will be moving in this direction. Basically, it can go in one direction. That is either like this, up and down, by controlling the flow of that heat. Okay. So it means all other traffic must give way to that. It means it might be an helicopter, glider, or aircraft, fixed wing aircraft. If anything is coming, then the first preference should be given to this balloon. Now comes to glider. Now gliders can do certain operations. If you clearly observe this diagram, this glider doesn't have engine. These gliders are basically fly on the principle, on the on it's just glide in air. Okay, it doesn't have any engine, so basically it moves in only two directions. It can come up and down, and it can pitch up and down with the help of elevators, but thrust cannot be controlled. There is no way that they can control the thrust. So it all depends on in which direction you are gliding. It has to glide along the way of air. It cannot go against there. If it goes against there, then what happens? It cannot get the enough thrust. So gliders are fairly maneuverable, but their airspeed is low and they do not have engines, as I already mentioned. So gliders have the right of way over tug-powered aircrafts and airships. Now, if you see in this diagram, then this is the backside is the glider, and this is an aircraft which is pulling the glider through this rope. So tug with glider. So this is a tug with glider. Okay, so this is called as tug with glider. This is a glider which is tugged with an aircraft. So tug with a glider has a benefit of powered engine. Now what happens? Now there is no constraint with respect to power. Though this glider doesn't have engine, but it is pulled by another aircraft. So what happens? It is a kind of driven, power driven now. So it has got certain high privileges, and in such case, what happens? This tug gliders can give way to gliders, but when compared to other powered aircraft, this has got the way to right of way over the airship and the powered aircraft. And then comes to the balloons, airships. These are slow. These are actually the helium balloons. They're filled with helium. So this can have both control directions in all the three directions. And next comes the helicopter. So helicopters are powered and heavy maneuverable aircraft. So they can give way to airships, must give way to tugs with gliders and balloons. It means before they approach for landing or before any other thing, they can give way for other aircrafts. Which are the other things? That is the airships, tugs, and gliders. Now these are the conventional powered aircrafts. So as you all know, whether it is a fighter jet or commercial aircraft, jet engine fitted aircraft. So these are all conventional powered aircrafts. Now this will give way to all other below aircrafts. It means gliders, balloons, helicopters, and others. Okay, so that is what it means. So now we will talk about the right of way convergence. Now what happens if two aircrafts are converging at same point in a cross direction? Then who will give the way? That is the question. The aircraft which has the other on its right is to give the way. Now this aircraft is on the right, so it will give the way for the other aircraft. So we will look at few more different concepts here. So if you see this, the content which I'm showing right now in the site, the right of way rules are described by ICAO. It is International Civil Aviation Organization in their rule book in the Annexure 2, Rules of Air. So whatever we are talking about this rules, it is very necessary. This right of way is very, very important. It is not just any part of this airmanship. It is very important part of airmanship because it is helpful for the two aircrafts in the air to avoid the collision. Okay, and it has to be strictly followed. So in the Annexure 2 of this ICAO, they have defined these rules. So right of way. What is the right of way? The aircraft that has the right of way shall maintain its height and speed. It means if you look into this diagram, there is one big some transport aircraft and there is one more fighter aircraft. Now what happened? The big transport aircraft has not changed its direction, neither it has decreased its speed. It means it is going consistently with the same speed and in the same direction. It has not changed anything. Whereas the other aircraft which is on the right has given the way to this aircraft. Now what happened? This aircraft was flowing in this direction, then it has taken a 90-degree turn and it has given way for this aircraft. So that is what it means. Now, an aircraft that is, obliged by following rules to keep out the way of another shall avoid passing over, under or in front of rules unless it passes it here. I'll show you that turbulence and other things. Then approaching, right of way when it is in air. There is another right of way which is applicable during approaching. When two aircrafts are approaching, means come for landing, then who has to be given the way? Then converging means again this is in air. When two aircrafts converging at the same point at same level, means when they are coming perpendicular to each other. When two aircrafts are coming perpendicular to each other, just now we have seen one case, then the aircraft that has the other on its right shall give the way. Okay, except as follows, means again it follows certain, which means power driven aircrafts shall give way to airships, gliders, and balloons. Then airships gives way to gliders and balloons, like this. The priority follows. It means if a glider and a conventional aircraft are coming, perpendicular to each other, then it doesn't mean that though the glider on the right side, it has to give the way. No. In that case, what happens? Any powered aircraft, it might be a jet aircraft, so that will give way to glider. That is what this says. And even overtaking, we will talk these overtaking conditions. So when any aircraft is overtaking the another aircraft from back, so then it should take an angle of 70-degree uh, rear angle. Then from the starboard side, it has to overtake. That is from the right of the aircraft. So all these things are defined in the rule book of ICAO. So let us come to one more slide. Okay, this turbulence I'll come later. Okay. So now if you see the right of way, So what happens now? Two aircrafts are approaching perpendicular to each other. They are in the same level. Okay. Then the aircraft which is on the right. See, whenever we talk about right, we have to stand here in front of the aircraft and we have to say this is the right one, not with respect to how we are seeing now. Okay. We have to see from the nose point of this aircraft. When we see the nose point of the aircraft, then the right side of the aircraft is this. So it means this aircraft will give way to this blue aircraft. So red aircraft will give a way to blue aircraft. Okay. And again, the rule follows: if it is not a aircraft, if it is a glider, then this blue aircraft will give way and all. Now, if two aircrafts are approaching opposite to each other, then what happens? In this case, both the aircrafts will take a heading, means they will change their heading towards right. Both aircrafts, even this aircraft will go to right, and the another aircraft also goes to the right side. And when two aircrafts are approaching, now the two aircrafts are one above the other. One is a blue aircraft, one is a red aircraft. And the aircraft which is below is given the way by the aircraft which is above. Now this aircraft give way to the blue aircraft, means the blue aircraft is allowed to land and the red aircraft has given the way, so it will come next time. So hope you are clear with this concept of right of way. This is very, very important. Now head on. Now when two aircrafts are approaching head on, means as I told you, the diagram is not correct. This is the wrong diagram. When two aircrafts are coming opposite to each other, then what happens? Both the aircrafts will turn to the right, as I shown in the diagram. Now this is the overtaking case. When the aircraft overtakes another aircraft, there are certain rules which need to be followed. So the aircraft which is coming behind this has to take 70-degree turn from fore and aft axis, and then it has to move forward. So the aircraft overtakes another aircraft, then what happens? The aircraft which is coming behind this has to take 70-degree turn from fore and aft axis, and then it has to move forward. So the aircraft overtakes another aircraft, then what happens? The aircraft which is coming behind this has to take 70-degree turn from fore and aft axis, and then it has to move forward. So the aircraft overtakes another aircraft, then what happens? The aircraft which is coming behind this has to take 70-degree turn from fore and aft axis, and then it has to move forward. So the aircraft overtakes another aircraft, then what happens? The aircraft which is coming behind this has to take 70-degree turn from fore and aft axis, and then it has to move forward. So the aircraft overtakes another aircraft, then what happens? The aircraft which is coming behind this has to take 70-degree turn from fore and aft axis, and then it has to move forward. So the aircraft overtakes another aircraft, then what happens? The aircraft which is coming behind this has to take 70-degree turn from fore and aft axis, and then it has to move forward. So the aircraft overtakes another aircraft, then what happens? The aircraft which is coming behind this has to take 70-degree turn from fore and aft axis, and then it has to move forward. So the aircraft overtakes another aircraft, then what happens? The aircraft which is coming behind this has to take 70-degree turn from fore and aft axis, and then it has to move forward. So the aircraft overtakes another aircraft, then what happens? The aircraft which is coming behind this has to take 70-degree
Yes,
turn from fore and aft axis, and then it has to move forward. Yeah. Can you all listen to me now?
Yes, sir.
yes, sir, we can.
Okay, I don't know how much you have missed. I was just keep on talking and then it got disconnected. I'll just present my screen. Just right of way how we are completed. Now I have shown you few website content. Did you follow, or my voice got disconnected before that itself?
Website content was clear, sir.
Okay, ठीक है. Okay. So overtake, right of way during overtaking conditions. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Then we were talking about the right of way during landing. Now, during landing or approach conditions, now there might be a condition that one aircraft is on the runway and there is another aircraft which is approaching for landing. Now, who has got the right of way? Now, the aircraft which is coming for landing or approaching, so that has got the right of way over all other aircrafts. Okay. So that is what it means. The aircraft in the final stage of landing has a right of way over the aircraft in the air and on the ground. And priority based on maneuvering does not apply to this rules. Now, once again, approach conditions. The aircraft at the lower altitude on the approach has the right of way normally. However, on the courtesy, the captains of the light maneuverable aircraft give ways for heavier ways in which overshot procedure is involved. It means sometimes it happens that the light aircraft, actually the light aircraft should be given first preference for landing, but other times what happens, the light aircraft give way to heavier aircrafts. Then they will land because the heavier aircrafts requires a longer runway in such cases, whereas the the light aircraft can land and stop in a very small distance, at a very short distance of the runway. So that is involved. So that's why sometimes it depends. So approach. So an aircraft seen or known to be carrying at an emergency landing means any aircraft which is at the emergency, then it has got the highest right of way. Means the first preference should be given is the right of way for such aircrafts which has an emergency conditions. Okay. Now right of way on ground. Now whatever you have seen, that is with respect to air. You have to be very, very clear. Now what happens on the ground? Now aircraft is on the ground. Now vehicle not towing aircraft give way to aircraft being taxied. It means the vehicles which are not being towed. Now this is a towing vehicle of the aircraft. Now give way to the aircraft being taxied. Now if any aircraft which has just landed, now it has come out of the runway and now it is being taxied taxiing and is going to the terminal, then what happens? So that has given the preference, first preference given way, and this vehicle which is not towing will give the way for it. Now aircraft and vehicle taxiing give way to the aircraft being towed. There is a difference between these two. Please understand. This is connected to tow vehicle, correct? But this is not moving. When this is not moving, then the preference is given to taxiing aircraft. But when this is being towed, then what happens? Then the preference is given to towing vehicle, because taxiing vehicle can stop for a while on the ground in the taxi path, whereas the towing needs to be given the first preference to pass over. Coming to the navigational lights, whatever the image you are looking at present, so this is consider this as a top view, and if you stand in front of the aircraft, then the right side of the wing, then the right wing we call it as a starboard, and the left wing we call it as the port side. And the light indications during navigations in the dark, it might be dark or even in the VFR conditions also, this is to identify the other aircraft pilot. So which side of that aircraft is, whether it is approaching or it is going far. So that makes the decision very clear. So that is indicated by the different lights. So the starboard is indicated by green light, and the port side is indicated by red light, and the tail section is indicated by white light. So you have to be very clear with this. So different color points on the wings and wing tips and rears to help the pilot judge the direction of other aircrafts. Okay. So fighter aircrafts, again same thing, starboard green, port side red, tail section rather than white, it is yellow. Okay. So gliders, there is nothing like that. So there is no starboard, no port side, there is only one light, that is yellow light. For balloons, there is only one red light. And for airships, there is yellow lights at the front will have the green lights and below will have the red lights. Now, the two aircrafts are converging at one point. So who will give the way? The aircraft which is at the right will give way to other. Now, which is at the right? So this aircraft is at the right. Now, the aircraft has seen the red, must give way. Now, who is seeing this red light? This aircraft. The aircraft which is at the back is seeing this red light. So this aircraft will give the way to this aircraft, the below aircraft. Okay? It has given the way. Now this aircraft is moving like that. Now crossing flight paths at night. Now what happened? The aircraft seen. So if you see this, the aircraft seeing green can go. Now what happened? This aircraft has seen this green light. So now this has got the privilege and it will go. It means again the second aircraft has to give way to this aircraft. Got it? Then avoiding other aircrafts. So the best way to avoid the aircrafts is see the other aircraft as early as possible, and if you see an aircraft that may pose a threat, you must inform the captain, and the clock code is used, that is high, low, and high, level, and low. So if this is the aircraft, then this aircraft is at 11 o'clock, which is going from left to right, and there is a one more aircraft which is at 3 o'clock or 3:30, which is going from right to left. And there is a one more aircraft which is going from at 2 o'clock, which might be going at the right. And there is one more aircraft which is at 8:30, which is going, on the left side. Okay. Now, if you look at this aircraft, now what is this direction with respect to the clock? If you're standing somewhere here, it is at the 11 o'clock. Now it is high because it is descending. What happens? It is coming closer to this aircraft. Now, for example, if you're standing here in the center of the screen, I'll just play this again. What happens? This aircraft is coming close. It means it is a high alert. And the code is high. And it is at 11 o'clock and it is coming from left to right and it is descending. Whereas this aircraft is flying straight. So this is at 12 o'clock level, crossing from left to right. So the clock is level. It means it is not descending, it is going straight. If your aircraft is somewhere here, then it doesn't matter much to you. It is at 12 o'clock and it is going straight from left to right. Whereas this is also a dangerous. Now this aircraft is taking off. This is at 1 o'clock. This is right to left. This is climbing. Let's try to check it. Compliance with rules. So for most small aircrafts flying outside the controlled airspace in good weather, the pilot is responsible for maintaining the safe distance from other aircraft. This is called see and to be seen. Means the aircraft has to see, the pilot has to see and to be seen. That is the first principle of the VFR, visual flight rules. An aircraft flying inside the control airspace, then the pilot are still responsible for maintaining a safe distance with other aircrafts. They also strictly follow IFR, that is instrument flight rules. Okay. So compliance with rules and other topics we'll talk in the next class. So before winding up, I want to talk here one more topic. So that is right of way is over. But there is something called vertex turbulence. This is very, very important. Once again, vertex turbulence. Yeah. So when we talk about right of way, why it is important for right of way? Because the two aircrafts cannot come very closer, because when an aircraft is flying, the tips of the wings create some kind of turbulence, and that wind, that air is rotated in a anti-clockwise direction, and the other side will rotate in a clockwise direction. So this will create a wind turbulence. It is for a short while, but still it is very strong. If any aircraft is flying very near to this, then the stability and due to that air turbulence, that aircraft may lose the altitude or the lift. Okay, and it is also affect the same aircraft which has created this turbulence, because if you see this turbulence, what happens? You know the principles of flight, the aerodynamics. So the air below the wing creates more pressure. Sorry, the pressure above the wing has become more, and below the wing it has become. Am I telling wrong? What is this? The vortex. The pressure difference will be created is difference. And what happens? The instability of the aircraft increase. It means it tends to roll the aircraft. So the point I was talking is ground, and this happens more during takeoff and landing. Wing surface. Yeah, the lowest pressure occur at the upper wing and the highest pressure at the under the wing. So that what happens, that will create the instability of the aircraft, and that tends to roll the aircraft. So that has to be encountered. So that is why these tips has to be taken care of. So if you look at some of the aircraft, so these tips are gone little vertical like this to counteract this turbulence. Okay. So that is another this thing, and there are few cases where due to this turbulence some incidents have happened. Now there is I just want to highlight that is an Airbus 319 and Boeing 744, that is Air Canada Airbus en routes from north encountered unexpected sudden wake vortex turbulence from a tail of Boeing 747 nearly 11 nautical miles ahead, to which the pilot who then responded with a potentially hazardous flight control inputs, which led to reversion of alternate control law and aggravates the external disturbance to the aircraft trajectory and roll to 55 degrees. Means what happens? This Airbus 319 was flying front of a Boeing 347. Then 347 has experienced this vortex turbulence, and the air trajectory is roll up to 55 degrees. So this is one of the case. That is in 2008. So it's a very severe effect. This turbulence, vortex turbulence. Okay. So wake vortex turbulence. So just Google it, you'll find similar articles. So I just want to highlight this wake vortex turbulence. Okay. So read this. This is very interesting topic, and see the wing surfaces, how it does it affects the turbulence. So you all know this. There's supposed to be a low pressure area, low speed, increased pressure. Normally in aerodynamics, what happens when the aircraft is flying, a high pressure is created below the wings and a low pressure is created above the wings. But in case of turbulence, what happens? The lowest pressure occurs over the upper wing surface and highest pressure triggers. Anyway, this is principles of flight, that is aerofoil shapes. Okay, so that's it for today, and we will continue in the next session, in the next class. If you have any queries, you can ask. I think Shilpa has asked me one doubt long back in the first class, I think MTT, when we are talking about the structure of a station. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So Shilpa, MTT is that part of the Air Force station which takes care of maneuvering of aircraft. Maneuvering means just now I have shown you the towing of aircraft. Correct? One vehicle is there which tows the aircraft. So that section we call it as MTT. Okay, so which is taking care of putting the aircrafts from a taxi to a park taxi to inside the hangar and bringing the aircraft uh, out of hangar and putting onto the taxi path. Something, all these operations which are done by MTT, and all those vehicles are maintained by MTT. Okay. If you have any other queries, you can ask. As DCC. DCC is which topic? Tell me. From which topic it is? Just tell me the topic. DCC, I don't remember from which topic. I thought it is MTT. Okay. So anyway, just message me. What is your doubt exactly? We'll clarify it. Okay then.